Assalamualaikum. My name is SYUHAIRA binti JASNI, and today I will be talking about the importance of recruitment and selection in an organization. Recruitment is the process of attracting people to apply for a job, while selection is about choosing the most suitable candidate. These processes are very important because hiring the wrong person can lead to high turnover, extra training costs, and lower overall performance. Firstly, a bad hiring decision can be very costly. It may cause mistakes and accidents, loss of customers, and even lower morale among supervisors and co-workers. On top of that, the company may face legal issues and will also need to spend more money to recruit and train a replacement. Clearly, a wrong recruitment decision brings serious consequences. Next, to avoid these problems, companies should follow a proper process. The steps include making the decision to recruit, conducting a job analysis, sourcing applicants, collecting information, selecting the most suitable candidate, offering employment, and finally, holding an induction when the employee starts work. By following these steps, the chances of hiring the right persons are much higher. Lastly, before a company decides to hire new employees, there are several alternatives that can be considered. One option is to outsource the work to another organization or specialist. Another option is to reorganize tasks so that existing employees can carry them out more efficiently. Companies may also consider automation, where technology is used to replace manual work. In some cases, the work can be managed by existing employees working overtime. Finally, if new staff are really needed, the organization must decide whether to hire on a part-time or full-time basis. These alternatives help the company save costs, increase efficiency, and avoid unnecessary recruitment. In conclusion, recruitment and selection play a crucial role in the success of any organization. With proper planning and systematic steps, companies can reduce costs and ensure that they employ competent workers.
My name is Marsya binti SABRI, and I will continue for job analysis in human resource management. First is they need to conducting job analysis, which was the process of collecting complete information about a job, which are what tasks are done, what skills are needed, and the requirements to perform it well. The main sources of information are the current job holders, known as incumbents, and their supervisor who oversee the work. Several methods can be used are interviews allow direct discussion, but may be time-consuming and biased. Questionnaires are the most popular as they give structured input from workers and supervisors. In some cases, when an organization has job to analyze or lack enough staff, consultants may be hired to carry out the analysis. The final outcome of this process is always two important documents, which is the job description, which defines the role, and the person specification, which defines the ideal candidate. Second is job description, which was a written profile of a job that explains clearly what the role involved and its place in the organization. It usually includes the job title, location, and grading, which reflect the status of the position. It also states relationship, who the job holder reports to, whether they supervise others, and their interaction with people inside or outside the organization. The purpose of the job is outlined, followed by a list of duties and responsibilities, which form the key part of the description. It also covers terms and conditions such as salary, benefits, working hours, and travel requirements, along with any negative aspects like frequent outstation trips or night shift. A job description is more than just a recruitment tool. Besides, it also guides training, performance appraisal, pay decisions, and even instructing. The last one is a person specification, which describes the ideal person who can best fit to the job. It outlines with the knowledge, skills, and abilities required, as well as the education and work experience needed. In some cases, physical requirements like good eyesight or no color blindness are included if relevant to the job. Personality traits such as flexibility, leadership, or teamwork may also be listed, along with possible career path expectations. These qualities are usually divided into essential and desirable, which helps recruiters focus on what is truly necessary. It is also important to avoid bias such as specifying gender or age unless the job genuinely requires it. Many employers today also use competencies to define ideal candidates, such as strong communication skill, problem-solving ability, and others.
Hi, my name is ALIA binti HASMIZUN.
I will share about techniques for collecting information on applicants. In this slide, the 5 main sources of information are listed, which are application form and CVs, reference check, test, interview, and assessment center activities. This method gives employers different kind of information about candidates. In this slide, we can see the selection and shortlisting process. The point are it depends on human judgment, no single method ensure correct result, and multiple techniques must be used. The steps include application, forms, preliminary interview and thorough interview, and finally references check. At each stage, only the best candidates are able to move forward until the final decision is made. Next, the slide highlights some issues with CVs. They vary in style and content, take time to read, and can be unreliable because of exaggeration or missing details. Application forms, on the other hand, provide standardized and comparable information. They also give a clear basis for interview and candidate records while avoiding irrelevant or intrusive questions. Employers can even design forms differently depending on the job category. In this slide, the typical section of CVs and application forms are listed, which are personal details, educational qualifications, working experience, specific skill, interests, professional memberships, health and criminal history, and finally a declaration of accuracy. Having all these sections help employers build a complete profile of the applicant and assess whether they are suitable for the role. This slide shows the process of reference checking. Applicant provided references may be unreliable, so it is better to contact the referees directly. If that is not possible, written form can be also used. Reference checks are especially important for jobs that require honesty and trust. Past employers or school are usually the most useful sources for the verifying a candidate background. The final slide is about checking applicants' social media. Employers may review posts, photos, or comments since this is a public information. A professional online presence can give a positive impression, but inappropriate content may harm the candidate.
Assalamualaikum, my name is NURUL. I'll begin with selection tests. Now, there are 5 common types of selection tests, which I'll go through in order. First, we have performance tests. These are designed to verify specific skill claimed by candidates. It is very useful even when candidates already have a certificate. For example, driving tests for drivers. Next, we have aptitude tests, which measure potential for future tasks. These are very useful when hiring trainees or fresh graduate who doesn't have a work experience. For example, a chef needs a culinary training. Many aptitude tests are now available online, making them easy to access. Third, we have personality tests. These are used for employers that want to assess traits such as sociability and teamwork. They are commonly popular for managerial positions where personality can make or break performance. However, there are limitations. Candidates may try to fake answers to look good. Still, when done properly, they can provide a supportive answer. Fourth, intelligence tests, which measure general mental ability like problem solving. While intelligence is often seen as important, these tests don't always predict job performance accurately. For instance, a very intelligent candidate may become bored in a repetitive job, and this can lower the performance. Because of the limitations, intelligence tests are rarely used. Finally, we have a medical test, which focus on physical fitness and health. Employers may use them to ensure that a candidate can meet physical demands of the job, to detect medical limitations, or establish a health baseline. For instance, a hearing test might be essential for factory workers. Moving on, let's discuss selection interviews, which remain the most widely used recruitment method. Interviews can take different forms. First, face-to-face, which are the most common. Second, telephone interviews for shortlisting. And the last one, virtual interviews through Zoom or Skype. Sometimes, interviews are conducted in a single round, but for a higher level jobs, they use series of interviews and team-based interviews. Besides, good planning makes a big difference. There are 3 key areas to consider. First, timing. Interviews should run on schedule, with fair time for each candidate. Second, venue. The room should be comfortable and free distraction. In virtual interviews, formal background should be used. Lastly, topics. The interviewer must be familiar with the job description and the candidate application. A checklist prepared would be helpful. During interview itself, the focus is asking questions and listening carefully. Stress technique should be avoided. Instead, the interviewer should establish rapport through friendly greetings. The best way to gather useful information is by asking open-ended questions like, what is your opinion on? This encourages candidates to talk more. Once the interviews are done, the recruitment officers compares candidates, ranks them, and select the best fit. The top candidate is offered the job, while the others may be kept as a backup. Now, let's move to assessment center activities, which are becoming increasingly popular. These centers were originally designed to assess employees for promotion, but now they are widely used for recruitment too. They usually last 1 or 2 days and involve a mix of tests, exercises, and social events. Their goal is to observe how candidates behave in different situations, not just how they answer questions. They allow employers to evaluate qualities like communication and language skills, social ethics, and others. Based on the situation given, imagine being given a routine task that is repeated every day and does not feel very challenging. In such a situation, what are some ways motivation can be kept high, and how can strong performance be maintained over time?
In my opinion, one way to stay motivated is by looking for smarter and faster ways to complete the task, such as improving the method of finding small changes that save time. Setting personal target like finishing the task more quickly or with fewer mistakes also help to stay focused.
A private university is recruiting lecturers, but candidates keep asking unclear questions about teaching load, research expectations, and administrative duties. The question, how can HR improve their recruitment through a proper job description?
My answer to this question is HR can create a detailed job description that clearly outlines teaching hours, research publication targets, student consultation time, and commute work. This transparency attracts the right candidates who are prepared for the workload, reduces misunderstandings, and sets a clear benchmark for performance evaluation. That's all from me. Thank you.